Hi, my name's Jill, and 5 years ago, this was me. This was my mugshot. Yeah, me. Despite what you probably are thinking, I promise you I wasn't in jail. No, I didn't get booked for too many speeding tickets, nor was I arrested for road rage. But I was in an interesting situation. You could say I was in a bit of a jam. Okay, my customers had it out for me. They were extremely unhappy. The amount of stink eye I received was enormous. See, I had one of the most disliked governance processes in a Fortune 50 technology organization. You might be wondering, what does this have to do with my presentation? Well, here's the thing. I was living proof that my governance process could easily align with the future of DevOps, product, and agile. Yeah, you got that right. Later in this presentation, I will let you in on 5 proven factors that can be applied to any governance product transformation. Without these pieces in place, I believe that we wouldn't have been as successful as we were. So stay tuned. And if I have anything to do with it, you are going to go from this to this. My name is Jill Mead, and I'm an organizational change strategist and project-to-product coach. This is Stink Eye and Steroids, and I hope you enjoy it. Best place to start is here, at the beginning. So here's the thing. I worked for a Fortune 50 retailer for about 7 years, and I was so thankful to be part of every phase of their transformation to DevOps, product, and agile. As you can see here, there's 3 phases that I would consider part of this transformation. Pre-transformation, so that's where a lot of the grassroots pieces happen. Changes are happening in various pockets of the organization, but true momentum hasn't necessarily started yet, or significant change. The middle section is the transformation period. So in our case, it was 2 years long, roughly, give or take. And this is where a lot of change happened within that 2-year window. And lastly, you have the post-transformation period. And this is where changes are still happening. They're just much smaller in nature, and they're more iterative. And also, if you look at this, you'll see those mile markers. And these mile markers were critical points throughout that transformation that made it what it was. So a few challenges among many that organizations have, and the Fortune 50 retailer that I was at was not immune to, were some of these. Lack of support from executive leadership, project-minded organization. This is where we were more focused on deadlines and tasks than we were on value delivered to the customer. And frumpy processes and procedures. Yeah, I'm sure many of us see this today or in the past. And that's my focus of today. I want to talk about those frumpy processes and procedures. So here's where the story really heats up. There is a deep fundamental problem when your processes take longer than it takes to actually engineer the solution, right? Here's a visual that illustrates that. Here's the value stream. So you have an idea to customer hands. In many organizations, it takes them 1, 2, even 3 years to be able to deliver value to the customer. And that's the first time the customer's seeing this. So as you can see, the actual engineering work isn't very significant. But you know what is significant? All of the extra stuff around it. And that stuff is in the form of lead times, approval gates, approvals, hopscotch activities, wild escapades, you name it. Our organization was plagued with a significant amount of process fatigue. Sound familiar? This is traditional governance processes. So some of the characteristics that I would describe traditional processes are bloated, lethargic, dictating, costly, strict, and manual. And this is where the story gets a bit interesting. I want to introduce you to the painful process campaign. So this is where our organization recognized that all of these processes and procedures were impeding their ability to be able to move in the direction of DevOps, product, and agile. And so something needed to be done about that. So part of this campaign was introduced primarily for the technology organization, but I'm sure it involved business as well in some aspects. And this is where they voted, the community of technologists voted for the most painful processes and procedures. And really what this is meant to do is provide visibility, awareness, and pressure to those teams to change. So the top 5, you're probably wondering, well, of all the processes and procedures, what were the ones that bubbled to the top? Well, here they are. But before we start, I just want you to think about your organization, maybe now or in the past, and think about all those processes